to do these things, okay, this work energy power, a little bit very tough questions. Not very tough. It's okay. The first part, what are the initial things? I hope this they would have done. So if an object is like this, it's trolley kind of thing. If a force F applies like this in a triangle with respect to the direction of displacement, this direction of displacement, you can say the work done is given by F bar dot S bar. This is how you can give, and then the work done is Fs cos theta, where theta is the angle between the force and displacement. So based on that, your first question is there. So, and another thing what they regularly use is the work energy theorem. I hope they would have done this. So work done by the conservative force plus work done by some external force
Sorry.
plus work done by non-conservative force is change in the kinetic energy. So that is Ke final minus Ke initial.
Yeah.
So that's how you get it. So based on this, the entire questions are based on your this topics only.
Mm.
And the another one is that you have to understand when you see the frictional force. Friction. Just a minute. Just a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello. Uh, yes, madam. Good evening, madam. I'm actually in a class, madam. Can you call me after 6, madam, if you don't mind? Okay, madam. Okay, madam. 6 o'clock. Yes, madam. Thank you.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes.
Uh, so now you have this is called work energy theorem. That is a work done by conservative force, work done by external force, and work done by non-conservative force. Sum of all these things is nothing but change in the kinetic energy. That is K final minus K initial. This is the another thing what you need to solve this problem. These are the concepts behind. It looks very simple, but I hope you know what is the Ke. The kinetic energy is given by half mv square.
Yeah.
So this is the formula. So we will do this. So to start with, if you have your scribble, anyway, I will draw that idea over
See, I
here.
have the paper right now.
Yeah, yeah, fine. So anyway, I will draw the situation, whatever is here.
Yeah.
So here, this is like you there is kind of a lift. This is what they told. So this lift looks like this, and then so initially, well, like in India, if a question of this kind is given, they will be certainly afraid and they will leave this. Reading the question itself will take some 15 minutes to understand. So,
Mm. Mhm.
yes. So it's like one person is there and he's standing and he's skiing like this. Okay. Somehow he is attached to this particular thing. It's a lift. And with respect to horizontal, oh, okay. And with respect to the horizontal, oh, it's moving. I don't want this to move. Okay, fine. So it's connected to him, and with respect to the horizontal, he makes an angle of the angle what they have given was 30 degrees like this, and he's joined to here like with a rope to this called they said it's a lift or some kind of motor which is connected to a cable, and this motor is moving like this and it will dragging this person this here in this direction. This is what it is telling, and the mass of this person m is about 75 kg. This is the mass of the person. This is a problem one which we are seeing. And the pulling force exerted on the skier by the lift has a magnitude of 18 newtons. Okay, this they have shown that this is about 18 newtons.
Okay.
18 newtons is the force with which it is pulling in this direction. Okay,
Yeah.
and which makes an angle of 30 degrees with the horizontal. Frictional force F bar is directed horizontally opposite direction. So here you go. This is the direction of the frictional force F. Uh, Opposite direction of motion acts, and it's about 8 newtons. It's about 8 newtons force. Okay. The skier starts from rest and pulled along the horizontal distance d is equal to 25 meters. He is pulled along the horizontal distance of 25 meters, and you got to find what is the first one is add the add on the diagram of weight and the normal reaction force acting on the skier. So
Or like we have
the
to label it,
so that
the
is pretty
diagram.
simple. Yeah, in the diagram
Yeah.
itself, that is pretty simple. So here you can put that this is how the normal reaction and the weight of the person will be downwards. You can do like this. So here you go. So this is how the
So like
normal reaction is.
the yeah.
Mg downwards. So this how you can draw. This is not an issue. The second part of the question, if you have any doubt, please ask me if I'm going really fast or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now calculate the
Yeah,
work
yeah.
done by the each force. Now work done by each force is different. Different forces will cause different kinds of work done. So first is work done by the lift is what we calculate. So the work done by the lift, we'll call it as the external force. Lift movement, that is an external force. What is the work done is nothing but Fs cos theta. Okay. So that is F is 18 into S. They said it's about 25 meters. He was displaced 25 into cos 30. So this is what we do, cos 30. So we can plug in that 18 into 25 cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So you can cancel that to the 9 times 25 into 9, that is about 225 root 3 joules. This much will be work done. If you can substitute root 3 and then give the answer in decimals, that is also possible.
Okay. So like this is like just the simple calculation.
Yeah, that's it. As simple as that. Calculation wise, it's simple, but reading the question is the horrible thing.
Yeah.
And the second one is the frictional force. Once you had to do the frictional force, that is about you see the friction and the displacement, they're acting in the opposite direction. So we'll write F bar dot S bar. So because they are opposite direction, the theta here is 180 degrees. So here the work done by frictional force. So that the frictional force is non-conservative force. So that is so F into S into cos 180 you will get. 180 means minus 1. Cos 180 value is minus 1. So you get negative F into S. Work done by friction will be generally that is always negative. Okay. There
Yeah.
there may be a situation where the friction is causing some kind of movement. It's a very rare case you may see that. Non-conservative force, that is frictional force, that is friction is 8 newtons. So minus 8 times the displacement is about 25. Okay, 25 times 8, that is negative 200 joules. So the negative work refers to that it is trying to stop the skier movement. Okay, it is not allowing the skier to move. That's what the negative work done is. That is a non-conservative force. So this is up to 25 meters. This is the thing. If the displacement is more the work will be added. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can make a note of this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did like the A question, right?
Sorry,
A
ma,
question.
I didn't get you.
We did the A question and the
The
B
first,
question, right?
yeah, A and B are done. Yes, of course. We're going to the
Okay, so
C.
like so the first one is like WEF is equal to FS cos theta. That one, right?
Yeah, that's one. Yes, that one. Yes.
And the B
External
one
force.
is okay. The B one is
That's
W.
both the things are within that work done by each force. They said, right?
Yeah.
So that the work done by the external force as well as work done by the frictional force. Frictional force is the non-conservative force.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And what is the work CF? This one like VCF, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. This NCF, non-conservative force, that is friction.
Okay. Ah, okay,
Non-conservative
okay.
force is the frictional force, and normally the friction will be taken as the non-conservative force. In general, many
Okay.
things are there non-conservative forces. So one thing is that friction, and there are many examples. Actually, I don't know what they have done on what basis. All of a sudden, when I see these questions, okay, these are I don't know what is the background they have given to you. I have some general problems also apart from these questions. Okay, once these things are over, I think this will take this entire day time to finish it. This continuous discussion. This is actually. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Ma. I'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they are not giving like a small question and then I don't know what they have given earlier to you. First, reading the understanding question is the toughest part. Next, we can do that. Not an issue.
Okay. I'm just like writing it down. Mm, okay.
Clear,
Yes,
Amma?
sir. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go right. Now, the next question is calculate the final kinetic energy and reduce the final velocity. For that, we use work energy theorem. Work energy theorem. So, what does it say is that the work done by the external force plus work done by conservative force plus work done by non-conservative force, everything add up to the change in the kinetic energy. This is what it says. So, that is Ke final minus Ke initial. Kinetic energy final minus kinetic energy initial. So
Yeah.
here, what are the external force and non-conservative force is there. So, but this conservative force part is a gravitational force. If you can see the gravitational force, if the sphere is like this, okay, I will put a ball. It's easy for me to do that.
Yeah.
So, if you see that what is the work done by the gravitational force, mg is downwards or normal reaction if you consider, displacement is exactly perpendicular to both. So when you apply the work done by the conservative force is the gravitational force here. So when you apply the work done, mg into yes displacement, that is fine. Displacement is there, but cos 90 is what you have. The angle between the displacement and the force is 90 degrees. Both are perpendicular to each other. So because horizontal displacement, these four forces are acting vertical. But the value of cos 90 is zero, so work done by the conservative forces is zero.
Okay.
So here that part is eliminated out.
Okay.
What you are left with is the external force and the non-conservative force only, the two which are there. That's why they asked the first part. You had to mark the gravity and the normal reaction. So we have marked that, and after that they both act opposite to each other. And now the other thing is that we have to find this kf minus k. And the skier, he's starting from rest. He's starting from rest means the initial velocity is 0.
0. Yeah.
So the final velocity is only he is having. So we need to find what is the final velocity. Once we find the kinetic energy, final kinetic energy, we can find the final velocity. So for that, what we are left with, what the external force, work done by the external force, plus work done by the frictional force. Okay, that is a non-conservative force. That is a frictional force. That is equal to half mv square minus half mu square. But as I said, it is starting. He's starting from rest. The u part is
So
0.
there's 0
He
here.
don't have any initial kinetic energy.
Yeah.
So the what is this? What are these two? We just calculated the work done. Work done is the first one is 225 root 3. The second one is minus 200, right?
Yes.
So this is what you have. That is equal to half into mass of the person is 75 and then v square. So from this you can calculate what is v square. V square is equal to 2 into 225 root 3 minus 200 whole divided by 75. You can do the cancellation and then work afterwards, and then you can find v as square root of 2 into 225 root 3 minus 200 whole divided by 75. This you can give the calculation later in the calculator.
Yeah.
So that's how you can find the velocity. Velocity we will get in meter second inverse, and this is the final kinetic energy. So this part, this portion is the final K. Final kinetic energy is this part. And now when you multiply with the 2 and divide with 75, that is when you divide with 37.5, you get your velocity when you take the square root. These are the other operations, simple math afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's how you find the final velocity. So this is the question number 1, complete discussion. Now question number 2 is like insane question. I never seen such an insane question. It's too long. First of all, the question itself is very too much long. I don't know how your friends have responded to this. I don't know. What was the response? I wish to know how your friends have behaved after seeing this. Is there anything?
They still haven't started anything.
They are not started.
Yeah, they will be like I will do it on Sunday, and then they won't do it.
Okay, now you understood how to handle the first one. Okay, second one we'll see.
Yeah. For the C part,
Hmm.
like
Yes.
it says like calculate the final kinetic energy and reduce the final velocity of the skier. Means
Yeah.
like you calculate the final kinetic energy,
Yes.
and like then how do you like reduce the final velocity
Yeah, that's
of
what we
the
heard.
skier?
See,
Oh
final
yeah.
kinetic.
Okay.
This entire
Sorry,
thing is
sorry,
the
sorry.
final KE. So
Ah
this
yeah,
is K
okay.
final minus K initial, right? K initial is 0
Okay. Yeah.
because he started from rest. K initial is 0. You have K
Okay.
final that is left. K final is nothing but sum of this work done.
Okay.
Work done by the non-conservative force is the work done by the frictional force what you have calculated. You sum that with the work done by the your external force, that is from the lift. This part from the lift. It is coming from the lift. So both the quantities you have calculated.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So both the quantities we have calculated. This is how we get them. If you have any further, you can tell me. This is how it operates. This is called work energy theorem. Based on this, it will operate.
Just note it down real
Okay,
quick.
please note it down. Please note it down.
కంటిన్యూ చేస్తున్నాను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను.
Okay, sir.
Okay, ma?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll go to the next one. Next question is like insane. Okay. So this question is like a skier with the, oh, I'm going to the next one. Yeah, this is called ski jump.
Ski jump.
No, drawing itself is an insane one. So when I saw the drawing, how many things are there? Just a minute, Amma. I'm getting this. Hello. అమ్మా నేను క్లాస్లో ఉన్నానమ్మా, తర్వాత ఇస్తానమ్మా నేను, ప్లీజ్ కొంచెం ఆగమ్మా. Hello. So we have the ski jump. So let me see the question. So here, first let's draw this one. So I had to draw from somewhere from the top, not here. Otherwise my drawing will not be, my space what is provided on this laptop will not be sufficient. It will be that level kind of drawing I have seen. My goodness. So, okay. So it goes like this. And now you have this kind of okay. I'm unable to draw here for the, so it's kind of wedge or a hilltop sort of thing is what they have given. First, understanding the drawing is the most important thing. That's why I'm drawing this. So this is the point A he started, and he goes to the point B by, like, he moves on this ice floor, and after that he takes a jump from the point B and reaches one topmost point, and then it's the most complex motion I have ever seen. So it's, thank God he has not, like, he didn't tell that he rotated in between, like he did like this. Hope he has not done that. If he has done that,
Okay.
the problem becomes even more complicated. You got to add
Yeah.
something called rotational kinetic energy into the picture and moment of inertia of that person.
Rotational kinetic energy?
Yeah, there is something called that, rotational kinetic energy. And then you got to know the moment of inertia of that person. There are two other quantities which will come into the picture, and number of rotations he is making during this jump. All these things will come into picture. He's jumping straight.
This is only really difficult.
Yeah, this itself is really difficult. Now it goes to the next level if he wants. So okay, he jumps like this and then he crosses some topmost point. These are things which are not required, but for this problem, they, in order to confuse you, they are putting up a lot of stuff like that. So the scenario is like this. So you have this situation. So this is the one. This is the situation what they're talking about. From A to B is what, and then they have given that this distance is from here to here, to here, from ground to the point A, it is HA, and from ground to the point B, and from ground to the point B, it is HB. HA is about 65 meters and HB is about 35 meters. This is what they have given. Okay. And what else they have given? At the point A, he is having the initial speed, VA is 2.5 meters second inverse. This is the initial speed what he has. And okay, 2.5 meters second inverse. With the initial speed, and then he reaches B. The end of the ski jump lies at the B, and that 35 meters. Okay, S is a point of maximum height during the flight, and C is the final point of the flight. Okay, you understood this. So he jumps like this to up, and then he falls down here. That's what the situation he talks about. Now he's not rotating in between. Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing. And here there is one thing actually. We'll tell the ski jump, they will take a lot of precautions, all these things. If the cat has to jump from a top very much height, no.
Yeah.
So it's like it does something. It always lands it's with his legs only all the time. So there is one thing is that that's the reason is that the moment of inertia. The cat will stretch his body in order to increase the moment of inertia actually, and so it always it will maintain there's a lot of science in between. The cats jump from a wall also. So
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
like a physicist will get confused if a ball rolls on a floor. So,
Mm.
so
Oh.
why a physicist has to get confused is because of these reasons. Cat jumping from a wall also is confused. So all the things will enter at a time into his mind. This is a problem. So for a normal person, any number of videos you watch, so this is not a big thing. Or what is that? If you that's a expression of the skill what he has shown. But when it comes to the calculation, it's gone case or how much is involved, you will see. Okay. And now he started the 2.5 meters second inverse, and then at the end of the ski jump, there is a point B. It lies at a height of 35 meters, and S is a point of maximum height during the flight, and C is the final point. Okay, S is the point of maximum height. Okay, fine. Mass of the skier is about 75 meters. Sorry, 75 kg. Mass of the skier is about 75 kg. And now the length of the AB length in the ski jump is about, they have given it as 42 meters. This is the information what is given. And now that is the first entire para it says that. And now the questions. Calculate the initial kinetic energy and the gravitational potential energy and the mechanical energy of the skier. Okay. Now that's the first part. See, what is a mechanical energy? Mechanical energy is the total energy. Total energy is the sum of the kinetic energy and
Oh
potential
yeah, I know
energy.
that. I know that. I know that. Yeah.
So potential
It's
energy and
half
kinetic
m.
energy, you know this
Yeah.
one, very easy. So that is half mv square plus potential energy at this point is mgha.
Yeah.
mgha. So you can calculate this. This is very easy, and then you can substitute these numbers over here. So you get so half m. That mass is 75. You can put, and va square is 2.5 whole square. So that's the one. And then this second part is mass is 75 into g is, you can put 9.8 in times multiplied by ha is about 65 meters. So plug in that. So you got, so when you sum this, you got the total energy. This is called initial total energy. Total energy at the initial case, that is kinetic energy plus potential energy at the point E. Clear, Amma? This part.
Yes.
Now, after this, they asked some few more things. So at the point B, so when he starts, it is like initial velocity will be smaller. So because he is under the influence of gravity, the velocity gradually increases because he is getting accelerated because of the gravity. So when he reaches the point B, he will gain some velocity. So at the B, the velocity is 18.4 meters second inverse. This is the velocity what he gained. And now at the point B, show that the mechanical energy was not conserved during the descent along the ski jump. This is what they told. So mechanical energy not conserved means total energy final you calculate. Total energy final is mghb plus half mvb square. You calculate this. So that is mghb is 75 into g is 9.8 and that is 35 plus half into mass. Mass is about 75 into VB
75.
square is 18.4 whole square.
Yeah.
So when you calculate this, you will end up that total energy initial is not equal to total energy final. If this happens, energy is not conserved.
Okay.
You will end up with this situation because the numbers will not match. Total energy final will not match with the total energy initial what we have calculated earlier. Can make a note. So you will end up with this situation so that you can say that the energy is not conserved. Energy conserved means total energy initial, whatever we started, that should be equal to the total energy final. So here, the initial final are the points what we choose, A and B. At every point of movement, the total energy should be same. That is a funda. It need not be at the point C. At every point of movement, the total energy of the system should remain the same. Then only we will say the energy is conserved. So, however, it is not conserved because there is some frictional force which is acting between the skier and this surface, the ice. Okay. So that frictional force is causing the non-conservative force. It is not conserved. Whenever you see a non-conservative force acting on the system, the energy conservation will not work. That's most important. So that's the reason work energy theorem comes in. So how to account for the non-conservative forces is the thing what it says.
This is like for the A part, right?
Oh, this is for the A and B together.
A and B, yeah.
A and B together. A and B together.
To be honest, we were not taught about, I think, the work energy theorem.
I know, Amma. I understood. I understood that you need that
But
tell. I
right now, like
understood.
I have
I
right
understood.
now, like
Yeah, I understood that. I understood. There is no match between what is what. They have not told anything, and they expect that you know these things prior. That is beauty. That is a beauty. They expect that you know these things prior, and fortunately, he has not brought that projectile motion also into the picture. That would have been another headache.
yeah.
And
So like
when I saw this one, actually the figure was like this. He gave an angle here, phi, like this. Then I thought that this is going to be really complicated question because this skier is jumping up like this, and again he is going like this. This is one. This one kind of thing, and there is another thing is there. What should be the velocity at this point so that he goes like this and falls down like this? So that's called this situation is called a vertical circle motion. So, so it's like he has to go like this on top, and then he will curve like this, and then he falls down into the path. Same
He
path.
can give such
Completes a
question
circle.
in exam.
Completes a circle. These are several questions based on the same funda, but the situation will keep changing. I told you this. In fact, that this he jumps here, and what if he rotates like this? And again,
Yeah.
with rotation, he will fall.
Oh, okay.
So that is what I was talking about. With rotation, he will fall here. It's the most complex question that he follows some kind of helical path. So like a spring, spring is like looks like helical. So like that path he will follow, and he will fall down here. So the question becomes even more complicated. And the next one is like, oh, thank God they are not asked to that extent. I am happy to that extent.
No,
Okay,
we
they
can
stop.
actually, because like
They can
last
ask. They
this,
can ask. They can ask. I
yeah,
understand that they can ask. And they said that you are doing physics course. You should be knowing all these things. Come
yeah,
on,
like
man.
in the class we do like really basic questions, but in the B test he was like
Hmm.
about the gravity and all. He asked like so complex questions about the
He is
frame
not even
of
in the
earth.
gravity, Amma. He is going beyond the space-time curvature, black holes. He is going to that
Black
level.
hole.
Black holes, everything. We may talk about that one also. Who knows? Yeah, all of a sudden I have seen the binary star system, something, some question. Okay. We
There
have to
is?
discuss that. Actually, I had to discuss for reading that. Okay, when we get time.
Okay,
When we
okay.
get time. But for
Yeah.
that, you have to know a lot of basics about gravitation first to discuss that one question.
Y- Yeah.
They are connected concepts. Without teaching that how he is giving that exercises to
He
you, I don't.
actually like gives us really basic information, but like in the exam he gives us like Einstein's level questions.
Oh my God.
It's really hard to solve.
Very, very
And then
hard
the
to
time is
solve.
also really less to
Yeah, time.
solve
Yeah,
that.
understood. Understood. The time will be really less, definitely.
Yeah.
Just that I
It's
don't
just
know
like
that.
I think 2 hours
Hmm.
to solve like
To read
8
the question, it takes
exercises.
half an hour, Amma. That much big question is this. So, okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is like, we'll see the next. What is the next one? Mechanical energy was not conserved, so okay, this was done. We assume that a constant frictional force acted during the descent. Calculate the work done by this force and deduce its magnitude. So, in order to deduce the
As
frictional
like
force, that
reduce the, yeah.
deduce
Okay.
its magnitude. That's what they are saying. In order to deduce the frictional force, we need to use the work energy theorem once again. Work
Okay.
energy theorem. So why like that? Because they are not given the force. So what we have to do is work done by the conservative force plus work done by the non-conservative force. That non-conservative force is nothing but our frictional force.
Yeah.
Non-conservative force is nothing but our frictional force. So we do that. The conservative force. What is the conservative force? Conservative force is the gravitation force. So first the thing is that this should be taught to you first. What is this one? What is that? And you have non-conservative force is given by the change in the kinetic energy. This is how to start with. And now how to calculate the work done by the gravitation force. See, it's like this. For always for the gravitational force, we'll see only vertical displacements. So this you have to know. For to find work done by gravitational force, always look at the vertical displacements. Vertical displacements. Always look at the vertical displacement. So this is the one you have to look in. Now in the diagram, what is the vertical displacement? See, this point is HA and this point is HB. They have given this from the ground. This is about 65 meters and this is about 35 meters. Okay.
Yeah.
So I told you the vertical displacement from A to B, vertical displacement is about 30 meters, right?
Mm.
Vertical displacement is 30 meters. And the
Yes.
gravitation force, what is the gravitation force? Gravitation force is m into g.
Yeah.
So mg into 30. Job done, no? Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. Now let us plug in the things. Okay, please note this. Please note this. This is most important. To find the work done by gravitational force, always look for the vertical displacements, because see, when you see here, it appears that he has displaced in a slanted way. So you may take the 42 meters as the displacement. No, no, it's only the vertical drop you have to see. Vertically, how much he has moved. This point is at 65 meters from the ground, right? This point is at 35 meters from the ground. You got to take only the vertical displacement. Vertical displacement is only 30. For gravity, work done by the gravitation force, you got to take only 30 into account.
Okay. So like it's basically the half.
Up?
It's like half the distance, right?
No, no, 65 minus 35, ma.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. That's the thing,
Yeah,
right? Because like
65 minus
it's
35, that is 30.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Clear? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll do. Now, work done by the gravitation force, that is, we can do, that is F into S, that is vertical. Yes, vertical only. This is what you have to understand. So F is mg into the vertical displacement is about 30. So that is 75 into 9.8 times 30 is what you get. So this many joules. Fine. And now the frictional force we have to see. Frictional force, that is the non-conservative force. So we know that the frictional force is F. And what is the displacement? It has happened that friction is acting along this inclined, okay, from A to B. This incline is at a distance of 42 meters. So it occurs at 42 meters, F into 42. Okay, right?
Yeah.
And now the angle between the friction acts in the opposite direction of displacement, right? So it's -1. Cos 180 you get, obviously. Cos 180 is -1. So always work done by the friction will be generally negative. It will be negative only. No doubt about that. So F into 42, but with a negative sign is what we have to substitute. And now add up these two. So what you have to do is 75 into 9.8 into 30 is what? Minus 42 into F is equal to what is the kinetic energy at the point B and kinetic energy at the point A. So at the point B it is half m dv square minus half m dva square. Clear, ma?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what you have to do is simply substitute the things. So half into 75, half m I will take out, and then vb square, that is 18.4 whole square, minus va square, that is 2.5 square. So this you can calculate and calculate the frictional force from this. F you have to calculate from this equation. So I hope you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that this part is easy. So 42F you isolate and F you make it as subject, and then you can find it. So this is how to solve the next part of the question. So this is how you can calculate the frictional force.
Okay.
So I got it like 228.31 newtons. Okay, the frictional force is about 228.31. Please check. I don't know. I have done it in. I should say that I am in kind of. I did it late night yesterday. So to be honest,
No.
so concept wise I may be clear, but the calculation wise I'm completely doubtful, because the thing is I was in a complete sleep mode and I was doing this calculation. So I don't trust my calculation, what I'm doing. So I was completely in sleep mode. Though I'm pressing calculator, I don't know what I'm pressing. I just pressed something, got some numbers. Okay, this can be done. Okay, leave it like that. I was, because I was when I did the calculation like 6 into 8 also, I was going wrong. 86, 76 like that, I was getting some numbers. So, okay, better to stop at this point. Write the concept
It's
and then
correct
put it.
actually.
Please check it out.
Yeah.
So what you are getting. Okay, ma?
Yeah, it's 2228.31.
We got it right. Fine, then fine. You calculated, that's fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Now the another one is that the next part of the calculation. After leaving the ski jump in B with the speed VB 18.4 meters second inverse, the skier is flying down to C. Okay, fine. Calculate the speed at C if there is no air drag it along the flight. Okay. And now this is the point B and this is the point C. Okay, he jumped like this. So here what he said, neglect air drag. So they said neglect air drag. So when you neglect air drag, what are the things which are acting? It's only the gravitational force which is acting on this skier. Okay. And now let's do this normal work energy theorem. So work done by the gravitational force plus work done by the non-conservative force. Non-conservative force, generally it is air resistance here because he is not on the ski board. Air resistance or air drag. Okay. So work done by the air resistance is 0 because they asked to neglect this. This point will make it 0. That is equal to delta Ke once again. That is equal to delta Ke. So work done by the gravitational force, you got to see the vertical displacement. What is the vertical displacement? That is about 35. So you can plug in that. So you get mgh. In fact, mghv, that is equal to delta Ke, that is half m into, you can do Vc square minus Vb square. Okay, you know what is the Vb?
Yeah.
Vb is, that is 18.4 meter second inverse, and mass of the person is 75. You know everything. No, 75 kg. Don't worry about whatever the path he has traveled. It doesn't matter because you got to see what is the vertical displacement. Displacement has happened from the point B to the point C. That's it. Shorter distance between B and C. That is this. Vertically, this is the displacement what he attained. 35 meters only. Whether he jumped here, this is all distance. This will count for distance. Displacement is ultimately from the point B to the point C he has reached. So that is 35 meters. That's it. So you can plug in the things and then you can calculate this. M also gets cancelled. So you can plug in the values of G, HB, and you have the VB value. Everything you can plug in, and then you can calculate the value VC. So that's the one. So I got that one about 32.1, around 32 meters second inverse. This is the velocity with which he will go at this point C, and then he will move. With that velocity, it will move. This is the prediction, but the question is not over yet. That is the problem. This much we have solved. The question is not yet over.
Yeah, there is still like.
Yeah, it's like
one
going on.
question
This
left.
question is going on. This is the concept. So it's like completely. It is like you are like pushed into the concept, pushed into the corner of this skiing board. Okay, and then you are thrown down. It is like that. The question is that.
Because
Completely tested. Completely
like,
tested to the
he-
maximum extent.
Yeah.
Completely tested to the maximum extent of your knowledge.
So like he had like he has given like textbooks to all the students in our class,
Okay.
and like me and my friend, we don't do chemistry.
Okay.
So he forgot to give us the physics book, and then we thought like he wasn't giving us the book because we don't do chemistry, because we are not doing chemistry. I've dropped the subject.
Okay. You
And
could
then
have
like
taken up
we asked him,
maybe.
and he was like,
Okay.
yeah, like we asked him, And he would just ignore us,
Oh,
the teacher.
okay.
Or I thought like maybe he didn't understand a question like what we are asking him.
Okay.
And then like and I think before the February vacation, we told him like we don't have the textbook, and he got mad at us, even though it was his fault.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like old, I think that's why.
Yeah, that they are available everywhere. There is some kind of
Yeah, it's like yeah.
actually that's Aditi's father. He will call them old nerds.
Oh,
They are available everywhere on this earth, and these people know they will be like stick to one kind of philosophy. Like if you come to my level only, I will talk.
yeah.
Otherwise, I will not talk to you. Bye
We
bye.
are kids. Like, how can we come to your?
So how do you come on, yeah? It's what they expect. I don't understand. See, kid is approach. He don't know something. Okay, it's his duty to explain the stuff, and then this is not that difficult. Okay, it's like question wise. It's like reading the question is like. See, I have solved the problems even more difficult than this. So the reason I'm able to see okay. But for an average student, when he sees in India such question, I tell you, they will simply give up a mark.
Yeah, about
They will
these
throw the
questions.
book. They will throw the book. Forget about seeing the question. They'll throw the book. Anyway, I am going. See, the exam, the kind of students I see here is like exam is in exam. When is the exam? Exam is in March. They
Yeah,
have given up studying in November. November, they gave up the study. That physics is not my cup of tea. I know.
exactly.
Physics is not my
It's
cup
like
of tea. They have given up in November. November, they have given up. No, whether I will pass or not is my question mark. I don't think I can pass in physics. That is the situation. And
even
now,
like it's
yes,
not my cup of tea.
yes, no, not like that. If you really work out it, you can actually. We had to spend more time. I have some notes. We have to spend some more time on the concept building. So
Yeah,
if we can do that by like spending some more time on the concept building on the parts, then you will just crack these questions with no time. It's not that
uh,
difficult actually. Really speaking, it's not. The only thing is you have to know the work energy theorem, how to apply that. How to apply that is most important. Work energy, knowing work energy theorem is okay. How do you apply that work energy theorem is the most important stuff. So this is the part two. And now they said that now the actual velocity, they said that at the point C, they said the actual velocity is about 15 meters second inverse. This is the last part of the question. And now if it is like 15 meters second inverse, what was the where the energy lost, how much energy is lost is the question. And now for this we apply this one. Work done by the conservative force, just now we have calculated, plus work done by air drag, now it will come into the picture. Now I just written that equation and neglected the air drag, right? Right, ma?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just written the equation. Work done by the conservative force, work done by the conservative force is the gravitational force. So that is nothing but the gravitational force. Just now we have calculated. So air drag is equal to half m into, we have calculated Vc square minus Vb square. But this time you use Vc as 15 meters second inverse. Okay. This
Yeah.
time for this calculation, you use Vc as 15 meters second inverse and Vd is 18.4 as usual meter second inverse. So this one work done by the conservative force, all these things when you substitute, the conservative force is like the mgh part. So here the m into g into hb, this part is the plus work done by the air drag. The work done by the air drag is a negative work. Okay, it is not allowing the person to move really fast. That's a good thing only always, because if it allows the person to move really fast, he will hit somewhere, some tree or something, and he will die. Air drag is doing good thing only. It does some negative work to stop the person. Okay, so it's like the nature works that way. So it's 75 some Vc square, that is 15 square minus 18.4 square. So this is what you get. And now this one, when you plug in that 75 into 9.8 times HB is like you have 35, and then plus work done by the A drag. So when you do this, so work done by the A drag, whatever the work done you get in the A drag, that much energy is lost. Work done by
Okay.
the A drag, once you calculate one number you get here. So I think it's about, I got uh, about approximately negative of 300 kilojoules. So approximate negative of 300 kilojoules is what we get. So that this is the energy lost. Okay, this is the energy lost. So approximately this is the number I got, negative 300 kilojoules. So you get around 299.8, 299.83, approximately 300 kilojoules is the energy what is lost. So when you plug in the numbers, you will get it. So you get this negative work. Negative work refers to that the energy is lost. So when you see negative work means energy lost. Energy lost. So negative work in the case of non-conservative forces, basically non-conservative forces. Non-conservative forces, generally work done by non-conservative forces, generally it will be negative. What are non-conservative forces? One is a drag or a resistance. The second one is friction. So the
Okay.
friction and a drag, these are called non-conservative forces. And the conservative forces are gravitational force kind of things. External force is like a lift. So all the things are there within the question. This much concept have to be built at the back side. I mean, this much feeding have to be given to the student in order to make them understand what is the question actually. That much is there. So we'll go to the third question. We'll go to the question number 3. Please note it.
Yeah. Okay, sir, noted it.
Now we have the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. The last one is like Steve question. It's how to read that actually in French. I don't know. I read it as Steve. I don't know. Stevic. I
Stevie,
don't know.
yeah, Stevie.
Stevie. Okay. Stevie. Stevie is boy name there. Okay. Okay. So it's like this Stevie is a boy. So what he has done is he wants to build a powerful gun to launch cannonballs. Okay, why do he wants to do? I don't know. Which head he wants to break? I don't know. He wants to launch cannonballs. Maybe I felt like he's scared of his physics teacher and he was doing this. Okay, and he's applying the physics laws against to his physics teacher. So that's what he's doing. Okay, so what he has literally done is like this. Okay, so he has taken a. This is a simple scenario like when you have a spring. Okay, so I got to use this. Okay, there's a spring here, and now over this there is a ball. Okay, now over this there is a ball. He wants to build a powerful gun to launch a cannonballs. He has an idea of using a hard spring to give the initial velocity to the cannonballs. The spring he was spring he uses was having a spring constant k is equal to the spring constant k is 1.80 into 10 cube Newton meter inverse. So this was the spring constant. And now what are the things you need to know is the potential energy of the spring. Potential energy of the spring. Okay. This is always a positive quantity. Potential energy of the spring is always a positive quantity. That when funda you have to know. The formula is given by half kx square, where k is the extension. K is the extension or compression in the spring. Or compression in the spring. K is the extension or compression in the spring. So this is what you have. So the potential energy is always a positive quantity. That's one thing. And if you have the potential energy is given by the formula half kx square, where x is the extension or compression of the spring, I should say it is from with respect to the mean position. I'll explain. I have to explain all these things, then only you will understand. With respect to the mean position of the spring, and this is what he is doing. Now that okay, let me explain. And then there is something called restoring force. Restoring force. So when you compress or stretch the spring, it will try to commit to its original position. So it is given by the force of spring force. I should say spring force is given by minus kx. Spring force is given by minus kx. Spring force is given by minus kx, where k is called force constant. K is called force constant. Force constant. So these are the things what you need to have in mind first initially. K is called force constant. These are the things what you need to have initially in mind.
I'm like noting it down.
Yes, note it.
Oh yeah, okay, sir.
Okay. Now let's move on. So here we go. So let's come back to the original situation. So the mass of the ball, they have given it as like 0.4 kg. Okay. 0.4 kg is the mass of the ball. The spring constant K is about 1.80 in 10 cube. So that is Newton meter inverse. That's the force constant units. This is pretty high. This number is pretty high. Pretty large number. And now it says that, see, in order to understand the springs, so let us say the spring is like it's in the original position. Original position. So it's in original position, let us say. And now assume that there is a mass like this. With this mass, you compress the spring to the length of x. You compress the spring to the length of x. So when you compress the spring to the length of x, so it will be compressed a little bit like this. It goes like this. So it will be like compressed to the length of x, and this is the original spring. Okay, original spring. When it is in the relaxed condition, it is supposed to be here. Instead, it is compressed to the length of x, or it is like stretched to the length of x. It is like stretched to the length of x from the mean position. It is like stretched to the length of x from the mean position. In all these cases, the potential energy of the spring is given by half kx square. So x is measured from the mean position. X is measured. This is called mean position. This is called rest position. This is called rest. The spring is not compressed or it is released. Okay. So under that condition, the free condition. Okay, like free condition, it is not subjected to any kind of force, external force. That is called free condition. Rest condition. In the rest condition, some force is applied like this on this, and it has compressed to the length of x. And then you can use the potential energy expression of kx square, that is potential energy of the spring. Potential energy of the spring is given by this formula. And F spring is negative kx. F spring is negative kx.
He also told us to use like the elastic formula.
Yeah, that is Hooke's law. This is what is Hooke's law. Okay, ma. This is what is called Hooke's law.
No.
Okay, ma. Now let's move on. So here we go. That so let me draw this. So his situation, what he's talking about is like you have a spring here, and now on this spring he has put up a cannonball, and this assume that this is the mean position. At the mean position, we assume the potential energy of the spring is 0 because it is neither compressed nor it is expanded. So at the mean position, the potential energy of the spring is 0. And now we compress the spring. He said we have compressed the spring, that is the position number 2 I'm drawing. We compress the spring to some extent. So let us say this is the M is the mass, and we compress the spring here downwards. The spring is compressed to a length of what does it say? 0.25 meters. Okay. We compressed the spring to a length of 0.25 meters. Okay, ma?
Yeah.
Compressed the spring to a length of 0.25 meters. And now this forms the initial potential energy. The potential energy in the initial case is the potential energy due to the ball as well as potential energy due to the spring, right? Potential energy due to the ball as well as potential energy due to the spring. And we assume that this ball position here is also the mean position. We assume the potential energy of the ball, E of the ball, at this condition is also 0. Potential energy of the ball at this condition is 0. So when we decrease that to 0.25 meters, the potential energy of the ball will be minus mgx plus half kx square. Always I said the potential energy of the spring is positive. Now x is my 0.25 meters. It's maybe a little bit clumsy and confusing. I will tell you what is that. You see, this is called reference line. So this part you have to understand. Reference line. You can choose the reference line anywhere and assume the potential energy at that reference line to be 0. And now when I go down, potential energy is negative. Go down by x amount, potential energy is negative. So I get minus mgx in this case. So if I move up by a distance of y, I get positive, that is plus mgy. So this is the funda. Clear, Amma?
Yeah.
Now, about the reference mean line we'll calculate. And the mean line we have chosen, the potential energy is 0 at this mean line. And X, what is the compression? They have given 0.25 meters. So I moved downwards. So that is minus mgx I got. And this is always, I said the potential energy of the spring is positive. So you put positive term. So half kx square. This part is done. So you have half kx square minus mgx, that is the initial part, that is equal to, after releasing, this ball has gone to certain height like this. Okay, it has reached a very large height and it has stopped at certain point. Okay, definitely. And now they asked to calculate what would be this height. Okay, that's what the question is. And now to calculate this height, what is the potential energy from here to here? mgh, right? This is the reference line above which you go, that is mgy, I told you. So just put mg, that's the final potential energy. Spring has restored to the original position and then the ball has reached to the top. So that is mgh simply. So that's it. So h you can calculate, that is half kx square minus mgx whole divided by mg. So you can calculate this half kx square is half into the value of k. The force constant is about 1.8 into 10 cube. So that is 1.8 into 10 cube. This is the force constant. So x is x square. X square is about what do we have? That x square is 0.25 whole square. Okay, ma. Next minus mgx, that is, yeah, mass of the object is like 0.4, right? The ball is having the mass of 0.4, I think. If I'm wrong, if I'm not wrong. What is the mass of the ball they have given? So elastic potential energy in the spring half kx square, when you calculate 50, that is the first part. Potential energy of the spring they asked, that is the first part. Potential energy of the spring they asked, that is half kx square if you put. So that is half into this numbers we put. This part you get it as about 56.3 joules. 56.3 joules. You can give it right. This part, that is the first part of the question. First part of the question is half kx square, half into 1.8 into 10 cube into 0.25 square. So when you do that, you will simply get 56.3 joules. So this is what you get. There's no problem in this. The next part is this, and then minus mgx. So that is minus 0.4 if I remember correctly. Oh, okay. Yeah, 0.4. That is the mass of the cannonball, and g is 9.8 times, and then it is compressed to the distance of 0.25. So let's put 0.25. So that's divided by the. So you can put the mg over here. So whole divided by mg. So here mass is 0.4 into g is 9.8. So when you give the calculation, you will get it as about, I think I calculated, the next one is about 14.1 meters is what you get. Just check it, 14.1 meters approximately. So this is what the calculations give them. So this is the basic equation. You can plug in the basic equation to get this thing done. This is the initial. So why I have not brought the kinetic? This is also work energy theorem only. Why I have not brought the kinetic energy is initial kinetic energy. Ke kinetic energy initial is 0 because the object is at rest, and it has reached a certain height and stopped. That means kinetic energy final is also 0. So kinetic energy part is not coming into the picture. It's only the potential energy. But initial potential energy should be equal to final potential energy. So based on that, we have solved the problem. Initial potential energy is equal to final potential energy. Based on that, we have solved the problem.
Okay.
Okay, ma? Clear?
Yeah, it's kind of complex, but
Yeah, I will
it's
explain. If
understood.
you have any trouble, you can tell me, no problem. It's a little bit complicated.
Yeah, I will.
But
I'm like gonna go to the video.
yeah, I will post the video anyway. I'm recording that, so I'll post the video. Please watch that. I strongly
Yeah,
recommend you watch it once again so that you will
yeah,
get the idea. So anyway, that initial part, one more time I'll tell you what is that. How do we take this initial kinetic, initial potential energy, and how do we equate with the final potential energy? I don't think you have any problem, right?
no, no, no. Yeah,
Initial potential energy only you have some trouble. See the initial potential energy. Let me redraw this situation. Note it once. Did you note this?
uh, half of it. Just
Okay.
like the calculation part above there.
Yeah. You had to plug in the numbers. That's it. After that, you don't have to do much. Plug in the numbers. That's it.
Yeah, I've done it. It was just the calculation I had to do.
Calculation. Just you have to do the calculation. Now the concept wise is this one. See, you have this one. So you have the spring ball system is what we are talking about. So when you have the spring and ball like this, we consider this line as the reference line. At the reference line, we assume the potential energy of the system is zero. Okay, potential of the system means the ball as well as spring, both. That is the potential energy of the ball plus potential energy of the spring, both are zero. Both are zero. Okay, ma? Clear?
Yeah,
This is called reference line. Now, always remember the potential energy of the spring, potential of the spring is half kx square. This quantity is always positive. This one you have to know. Potential energy of the spring is always a positive quantity. This one you have to know. Clear? Now,
yeah,
at the reference line P is 0, when I move down to the reference line by distance of x, now the ball's potential energy, so that means the spring I have compressed it to this point, right? To a distance of x. Spring I have compressed to this point at a distance of x, right? So when I compress, the potential energy of the spring is about half kx square, and the ball is moved at a distance of x only. The ball is also moved to a distance of x. So we get the potential energy of the ball is minus mgx because we moved down. Clear, Amma?
yeah.
So when you add up, you get the initial potential energy, that is potential energy initial is sum of these two. So you get half kx square minus mgx. This is what you get initially. That is equal to the this distance. Y is the distance it has moved from the reference line. They asked only y. From the initial position, what height it went, they asked. So from the reference line, how much height it has went, that is given by mg y. That's it. It has gone to mgy. So is y you are calculating, y is equal to half kx square minus mgx whole divided by mg, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the case is. That's what the case is.
Okay.
Okay, ma. Hopefully you got
Yeah.
this. This is the idea behind. So this is how you calculate the distance. And the first part is like a potential energy of the spring is what they asked. That is the first part of the question. Potential of the spring is half kx square. When you plug in the numbers, you get this. You get the answer very quickly. Very easily you get. No doubt about it. Clear, Amma? Any further doubts? Something?